Good morning, Nigeria. You're tuned into IKD 106.1 FM right here. You're tuned into IKD 106.1 FM, your number one station for information, education, and inspiration. This is the program where we sit down to talk about the matters that affect us all, the things happening in our communities, our nation, and yes, in our very own homes. I am Cecelia, and I'm your host for the next few minutes. This morning, we'll be talking about something that touches the core of who we truly are, talking about language. Now, when a baby is born, the very first sound they hear, the first word they pick up, the first expression of love and correction, those usually come in their mother tongue. That language is more than just words. It carries memory, culture, wisdom, and identity. It is how a community passes knowledge from one generation to another. But then in our country, Nigeria, we face a big dilemma. That's because the moment a child enters a school, in many cases, their mother tongue is put aside. English becomes the new ruler of the classroom. Parents, in the hope of securing a brighter future for their children, often insist on speaking English at home, sometimes even punishing the use of native languages. For them, English equals success. English equals respect. English equals opportunity. And yet, in this process, our local languages quietly fade away, sometimes even becoming strange to the very children they belong to. But let's take a pause and reflect. What does this really mean for us as a people? When we sideline our whole language, do we also lose a part of our identity? Think about it. Can a child truly build confidence, creativity, and deep understanding if the very tool of learning the language of instruction feels foreign? Because around the world today, research has shown that children learn faster, grasp concepts better, and even perform higher academically when they are first taught in their mother tongue. It is like building a house. You need a strong foundation before you can raise the walls. For children, their mother tongue is that foundation. Without it, learning can feel like building on sand. Now look at our reality. In many Nigerian homes today, a child can speak fluent English but struggles to hold a proper conversation in Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Efik, or any of our rich native languages. Some can't even greet others properly in their own dialect. What happens when a generation grows up disconnected from its roots, unable to carry forward the stories, the values, and the wisdom of their people who risk raising children who may succeed academically but feels like strangers in their own culture? So the question before us this morning is, how can teaching children in their mother tongue help preserve identity, improve learning, and prepare them for the future? And equally important, why as our system continued to treat English as the only ticket to success, why our native languages shrink quietly in the background. This is why this topic, our topic this morning is important: language and identity, teaching children in their mother tongue. And I'm not alone on this discussion this morning. I'm joined remotely by special guest Temilade Oluwaseun, an education advocate and cultural preservation enthusiast. She has worked with communities, schools, and organizations to show that when children start learning in their own languages, they don't just perform better academically, they also grow with pride in who they really are, and of course, in their roots. So this morning, we will ask the honest question, though provoking, as parents, how do we balance English with our mother tongue at home? As teachers, how can schools embrace local languages without feeling like they are holding our children back? And for policymakers, what steps must be taken to make mother tongue instruction not just an option, but a priority? Stay with us here on the issues on IKD 106.1 FM, because this is not just a conversation about language, it is about our children, our culture, and the future of Nigeria. It's still the the issues on IKD 106.1 FM. And if you're just joining, you're right on time. This morning, we are looking at a very important topic: language and identity, teaching children in their mother tongue. We've been talking about how language is not just a tool for communication, but also a carrier of our culture, our values, and our sense of belonging. And when children lose touch with their mother tongue, they don't just lose their words, they lose part of who they truly are. And to help us unpack this issue even further, I'm joined remotely by a very special guest, Temilade Oluwaseun. She is an education advocate and cultural enthusiast who has worked closely with children, schools, and communities to show the value of teaching children in their mother tongue. She believes this approach is not only good for academic performance, but also for preserving our identity as Nigerians. Temilade, you're welcome to the issues this morning.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. How are you this morning? Very well.
I am doing good. I am doing good.
All right.
For having me on the show.
It's a pleasure to have you. You know, I have learned a lot from you as a friend, and I believe people at home that are listening to us right this morning, they are ready and eager to learn more from you too. So this morning, I believe you've been very passionate about mother tongue education. But before we dive in, can you share with us what first sparked your interest in this area? Like, what made you believe so strongly that local languages matter in shaping children's future?
Thank you so much, Madam Tessie. It is such a privilege to join you on the show today.
Thank you.
Before I dive in, I would like to acknowledge the owner of Ikorodu Radio Station. I really appreciate the good work they are doing, putting this program together to educate people, to change lives globally and across the world.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
God will continue to bless you. And I also like to appreciate you for doing this, for anchoring this show, and for giving me the privilege to speak on your show today. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
This for granted. And language is actually very, very powerful. And language is the word that we speak. And I'll be deep diving a little bit to the background. I know that science has proved that the language we speak is backed up by internal development in human's brain. But however, from my own perspective and analogy, I would say that act of speaking languages in our mother's tongue, it is beyond the scientific backing about human brain development. There is a God factor in everything, and there is a God factor about how we speak different languages and the word that we speak. And if we take it back to John 1, verse 1 to 2, it is there that God himself is word. And I would also like to ask this mind-blowing question. How did a child knows how to pick and speak his or her mother's language or his or her mother's tongue? This act is actually a mystery that I believe even science itself cannot unravel. So it would amaze you that everything that we do, including the word that we speak, belongs and starts with God. And I've actually shared a biblical principle because I am somebody that believes so much in God. And we can see that a child speaking is not just only by brain developmental. This actually starts with God. So God is the giver of the word that we speak, and he has given every child the power and the ability and the knowledge to pick their mother's tongue, to be able to speak their mother's language, which is his or her own identity. And this ability, this act is actually so powerful. This is a mystery that we all on this show and everybody listening to me around the world, we can't unravel this and beyond what we can imagine. So The second thing of language is that this is what we're made of. This is what actually makes our components as a person. This is who we are as an individual. This actually helps us to relate with one another. And this act of relating with one another through languages, the word I will speak, the way I'm talking to you now, the way people are listening to us, this is actually what makes the world a better place and a beautiful place at large. Because language begot the act of communication. Language is who we are. And that's the reason why you could talk to me. If I can't talk to you back, we can't communicate. The world cannot be a better person. Imagine if someone is here on the show and they can't express themselves. And that would be very, very difficult, right? To relate to the person. Even if I can't talk back to you, it will be very, very difficult. Even if we use sign languages, that cannot complement for the power of tongue. I mean, the power of speaking, picking our mother's tongue or speaking different languages out there. We have to master the act of communication. And we do this by language, right?
Yes, please.
So your language, my language, your mother's tongue, my mother's tongue is powerful. And we as individuals, we must be able to express ourselves freely in our mother's native tongue, which is our language. So, again, language is very, very powerful. It is our genetic makeup, and it is who we are. And because it helps us to express ourselves to one another. Even if we have to express ourselves in another language, not our mother's native language, we still must master the other tongue, this language, and learn how to speak it. And I believe that we don't just talk, even though we have our brain and everything functioning, we still are able to learn and to speak that language with the help of God. He has given us the ability, the wisdom to comprehend, to be able to speak, to understand what you're saying, now to understand what I'm saying, and even all our listeners across the world. God has given us that power. So the mother's tongue is very, very powerful. Language is very, very powerful. And we, as an individual, it starts from home. We must make conscious efforts, irrespective of where we are. Maybe we're in Nigeria, abroad, overseas. Even if you're not a Nigerian and you're listening to this show, you must make conscious efforts to help your children to understand your tongue, their mother's language. It is very, very important. And this is very, very powerful. It is their identity. You can't just throw it away. Even if they have to learn other languages, you can't throw it away. The mother's tongue is powerful. I've explained to you how this is a mystery, how a child can pick this up without being taught. They will say the first word that a child will say is dada. Mama, And it's really, really amazing how they pick their mother's tongue. So mother's tongue is powerful. I know in Nigeria nowadays, even people that are not living in Nigeria, I know we try as much as possible to throw away that mother's tongue. We shouldn't do that. We should try to empower our children. They must be able to speak their mother's tongue. It is their identity. It is their culture. It is who they are. We can't just throw it away. So I, as an individual, I encourage everybody to please embrace their mother's tongue. Embrace it. It is your power. It is what brings you together. It is what ties you, to your origin. To your origin. And I know that we, as in Nigerians, we do it a lot now. They will tell the kids, I don't want you to speak. Maybe they are from the Yoruba side speaking. They will tell them, don't speak Yoruba, speak English. Maybe they are Hausa, they want them to speak English. Maybe they are Igbo, they want them to speak English. Maybe they are Ijaw, they want them to speak English. We shouldn't do that. This is our identity. This is who we are. This is our culture. This is where we are. This is our roots. we can't throw it away for anything. You can as well try to let your children learn other languages, but their mother's tongue is important. You don't want to throw that away. As much as we want to embrace other languages, we should at least try to encourage our children, our kids, to speak this. And this actually did not even start with the parents alone. It starts with you and I. It starts with aunties, uncles. It starts with the neighbors. It starts with the family, extended family, not only the immediate family. You know, when you see that kids stop speaking another language to them, encourage them. Let's even take it back home. Let's say, for instance, you're going out and you are in the car or you're trekking, you're going somewhere with your kids, and you want to tell them something, or you are even in a gathering and you want to tell them something, and you don't want to speak the normal Western language, which is English. You know, if they actually know their mother's tongue, they will be able to express themselves. You will be able to pass across that message. True. So I, as an individual, I encourage it. The mother's tongue is good. It's important. Language is who we are. That is how we can communicate, irrespective of where you are across the globe. Maybe you speak Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Ibibio, English, whatever it is. God has given us that gift. And God that has given us that gift, the ability for a child, no matter where they are born into, to pick that mother's language, mother's tongue. We should not deny them the power. We should not deny them the ability for them to express themselves freely. You know, we shouldn't deny them. When we as caretaker, guardians, parents, aunties, siblings, extended families, when you speak English to that Yoruba child, you are denying them the ability to know their roots, to express themselves freely according to their roots. So we should please embrace our mother's tongue. This is our identity. This is our culture. And you will even actually be surprised because I am opportune to have actually traveled around the world a lot. Okay. And last year, this summer, that was in June, myself and my family were actually in Vietnam. That was in June of this year. Okay. And when we actually met a group of kids with their instructor, they stopped us. These kids, they were learning how to communicate in another language, but they actually know how to speak Vietnamese. You know, why were they learning that? They want to travel out to study further, but their parents actually try as much as possible to make sure that they understand their first language. So the first language, the mother's tongue, is like the first love of every child. Uncles, aunties, parents, extended families, do not deny the children the ability to express themselves in their first language. It is very, very important.
It is very, very...
I'd like to stop here for now. Yeah.
It is very, very important. Thank you so much, Ma, for that. Empower your children to embrace their mother's tongue, because it is that tongue that is their identity. Yes, our mother's tongue is our identity. Now, Ma, that is a very, very interesting one. But I would like you to put... that, because it shows that what you just said, it shows that there is more to this conversation than just language. It is about identity and foundation. Now let's move a little bit further, because in Nigeria today, many parents push their children to speak only English, sometimes even discouraging the mother tongue. Why do you think this mindset is so common?
From my own perspective, as somebody who has traveled so versed, I think majority of the parents that we have, African parents, they are doing that because of their ignorance. If you have traveled so much, and you see how other people embrace their own culture, their language, you will really, really be gingered. You will want to make sure that your children knows how to speak your own mother tongue, which is your language. I think the ideology of we Africans trying to imbibe another person's culture, it is widely spread now because a whole lot of people, they've not really, really traveled wide to understand that there is something beautiful, there is something important about my language. And I should never, as a parent, as a sister, as an uncle, as a neighbor, as an extended family, be shy away from that. I think by the time they travel, they see other cultures, they'll be able to understand, appreciate the deep meaning, their roots, their culture, their language it has. Because again, your language is your culture. It is what identifies you as who you are. And another thing, I think the reason why parents nowadays force their children to learn, to abandon, is another thing for you to want them to learn and to still embrace their mother's tongue. What I see African parents doing nowadays is that they try to force their children to abandon their mother's tongue, which is their language, which is not good. You should be proud about your language. If you are a Yoruba speaking person, you should be proud about that. True. If you are an Hausa person, you should be proud of that. If you are an Ibibio person, you should be proud of that. Efik, whatever, Ijaw people, you should be proud of your language. You should at least help your children to understand that. Maybe you like it or not, if they go to school, maybe public school, private school, they will learn the other language. But at least let them know who they are. Don't confuse them. Do you know that actually science proves this? That if you raise a child, let's say, for instance, I am a Yoruba person, and this actually happens to me also when I had my son. Because my former husband will speak Yoruba to us, and when we want to talk to our kids, we speak English. Even though now we have to pay for them to understand and to speak Yoruba. So my son, when he was growing up, he found it very, very confusing. At first, he was the one that picked the Yoruba. He was speaking it a little bit, even at a very old age, as little as 2 years old. So at some point, he thought he was confused. And here, if your son is not reaching the milestone, they give it to whatever name. And they were just like, maybe it is this, maybe it is that. I said, no, this child God has given me, you can't give him any label. We speak 2 different languages at home. Maybe that's the reason why. And they were like, oh, yeah, that might be the reason why. Maybe he was trying to find a speech, which one to pick. So the reason why I use this as an example is to encourage our listeners, especially the most educated ones. We are the ones that try to shy away from our culture, which is our roots, our identity. We are the ones that try to tell our children, don't speak my language, I want you to speak English. Please don't confuse them. Let them learn their mother's tongue first. They will understand and learn the other languages. It is actually beautiful when you have a child that can speak different languages. It's a plus. So that is another thing. That's another third point. A whole lot of African parents that try to enforce the other language above their own language, which is their mother tongue. It's because they are ignorant about it. It is actually beautiful. It gives your child an edge to be able to speak more than one language. So please encourage your child. Don't deprive that child of their first love. God has given them the ability, without science proving at conception, when you have them, when the man and the woman meet, at conception, when that blood turns to water, when the cells start forming, the organs, everything, God has already deposited in that child the ability to pick his or her mother's tongue. It will be a great disadvantage for parents to deprive their children that ability to express themselves in their mother's native language. So please, I'm encouraging all the listeners, your children will pick the other language. Don't force it. Let them learn their first language, which is their mother's tongue. And as they grow, they will understand and they will be able to speak other languages along the line. Don't throw your own language into the trash while you embrace a foreign language. That is not own power. You can actually use that child. You can make them to lose their identity. They can get lost in the world. But if they know that this is who I am, I'm a Yoruba person, and we speak Yoruba at home, even though we speak English, you know, it brings them back to their roots. Wherever they are, their hearts will yearn towards their culture, towards their roots, towards where they came from. So don't deprive them, don't make them place other languages above their mother's tongue, their mother's language. That is not good. That is not who we are. That is not what God has called us to be. And God has given you that child. God will ask you, how did you train and raise that child? And that is one of it. Don't deprive them of what God has already instilled and deposited in them at conception. I hope I was able to answer your question.
You're doing amazingly, Ma. Thank you so very much for that explanation that really sheds light on the root of the problem. And I think many listeners can relate this morning because at some point or the other, we've seen parents making such decision. What you said shows clearly that this isn't just about language. It is about the choices families make every day and how those choices affect our children in the long run. So let's look at the bigger picture this morning. Beyond the family and the home, what role should school and teachers be playing in making mother tongue education a reality? Because in Nigeria, when you visit some schools, you barely see a curriculum that is showing or carrying a particular language for a child to, learn. So what role do you think schools and teachers should be playing in making sure that our mother tongue is taught in school?
That is actually a very big question. I am going to start by making China an example.
Okay.
In every Chinese school, they teach them Mandarin. Mandarin is like a local native Chinese language.
Okay.
And they actually know the reason why they do that. It's because they don't want their children to throw away their culture, their root, their identity. So, and other countries, like when we went to Vietnam, they also try as much as possible to teach their kids, that first language, which is Vietnamese, So they know the reason why they are doing that, because they know that there is power in language. When they throw away their language, they are causing division among themselves. They are trying to sell their children off. Trying to tell them that, we don't really matter. And we don't want to do that. My own advice to schools in Nigeria, I would advise them to please let us imbibe the local languages like Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo. We can also add that to our curriculum and give the children the free way to pick. If you are a Yoruba person, you can actually go for the lesson. If you are Hausa person, you can go for the lesson. If you are Igbo, you can go for the lesson, because I know, Nigeria is actually, those are the three predominant languages in Nigeria. So we should never throw away our children because we did not teach them their mother's tongue. I will advise that schools even federal government, state government, local government, the people that make the policy, they should include this in the curriculum that we have in our schools in Nigeria. It is going to bond the children. You can imagine children from that speaks Yoruba having the same lesson together. They can create everlasting bond from there. Even Hausa speaking people, they can create everlasting bond from there. Don't deprive the child the ability to know who they are, the ability to learn about their mother's tongue. It would be a good thing to see the federal government, the state government, the local government, and to see everybody contributing their quota and make sure that our children learn about their identity, which is their mother's tongue, which is the language. I hope I was able to do justice to that.
Yes, ma. So far, we've been enjoying your time. The insight has really been a huge one, and very, very true. And I would like how you are linking language to learning outcomes. But we have to still talk about the life beyond the classroom, because today, skills and opportunities matters more than ever. Now, do you think that being grounded in one's mother tongue can actually create economic opportunities like in the media, culture, translation, or even global recognition?
Yes, my dear. And I am going to give you one big example.
Okay.
And I hope the listeners that are listening also can actually take this. So, yes, there is more advantage when we embrace our mother's language, our mother's tongue, than when we throw it away in the garbage. And as a matter of fact, even the people that are foreigners, the way they appreciate our language, let me pick Yoruba for instance, the way they appreciate it outside Nigeria, you will really, really be amazed. You will really, really be amazed. And I'm telling you with all full chest. And I'm going to cite an example for you. But before I go to that example, let me also digress a little bit.
Okay.
When we create an avenue for our children to learn their mother's tongue, to learn their mother's language, which is their first love. Don't forget what I said initially when I started. You are creating an avenue for them to bond with like minds. It doesn't mean that they won't know how to speak that foreign language. It doesn't mean that they will not be fluent in other languages. But when you create an opportunity for them, you are actually creating a bigger avenue for them to be seen, to be known, to be well recognized, to share great ideologies with great minds, like the class I talked about, they can start something, they can share idea, like I want to become a doctor in the future, what are you doing? They share idea, they create a bond, And when we also have them, everybody cannot speak the foreign language. We need to embrace our culture. There is this man that does something, Maso. I used to listen to him. And you could see that man is going places, Why is he going places? Because of the language. He's visiting several places, well known. Everyone is recognizing him because he embraces mother's tongue. And that is what can happen. That is the door you can open, unlock, if you try to encourage your children to embrace their mother's tongue. And now let me go back to what I wanted to say initially. I have a friend here in the United States.
Okay.
She graduated from University of Madison in Wisconsin. You can Google this. And she and some other people that I know, they got scholarship from Nigeria, from Fulbright, to come and study PhD in Yoruba language. And this, my friend, her name is Dr. Adiola. I've forgotten her last name. Dr. Adiola. You can check it up on University of Madison, Wisconsin website. She's a lecturer now. And she also has scholarship opportunities for people that are learning Yoruba. Can you imagine that? So she has graduate students that she picked from Nigeria. In as much as they qualify, they did the GRA, they don't have to do TOEFL because Nigeria is a English-speaking country.
Okay.
Imagine that's my sister. And also there is another one that is our friend, Dr. Chego Shoet. You can look them up. He also studied Yoruba, and his doctorate was he had to come and do some research when he was about to graduate. So those are the doors you can open if you encourage your children to embrace their mother's tongue. These people that I talked about, they still have grad opportunity for people that want to come and do their master's, doctorate. This is in America. University of Madison, Wisconsin is in America. And they give people in Nigeria scholarship. Those two people that I've mentioned, I can mention many names that I know that they are the same sex. They are here. They came to study Yoruba. They got their doctorates in Yoruba. And now they are doing well, helping their world, helping their generation. Imagine if their family, their parents try to kill that morale, and say, why will you go study Yoruba? We go to school to study English. Why can't people go to school to study Yoruba? For America to have given grants for people to come and study Yoruba, there is something they've seen. So why are we, the people who owns the culture, why do we want to kill it? Why do we want to kill it? So I will encourage every listeners, every parent, every uncles, every aunties, every siblings to please encourage that child to embrace their mother's tongue. It is their identity. We can't throw it away. The benefits far outweigh the disadvantage. Actually, the disadvantage, I don't even know if I see any disadvantage. There is no harm in a kid or a child learning multiple languages. So it is to our own benefit. If we don't allow them to do so, it is detrimental. It has a whole lot of disadvantages that will come up in the future. So please, I will embrace everybody to try to teach their children in their mother's tongue and let them learn this. Don't be shy away from it. Speak it freely. It is where God has created you.
Yes.
There is a reason why you were created in Nigeria and not in America. There is a reason why you are created in Nigeria and not in China. There is a reason why you are created in Nigeria and not in North Korea. So embrace your culture. That is your heritage. You can't throw it away.
Embrace your culture because that is your heritage. You cannot throw it away. All right, Lagos, you've heard from our guest. You've heard the angles she has really explored, and now it is time to hear from you. This is where the issues becomes your platform. The phone lines are open on 09040-811-061, 09040-821-061. You can also send us a WhatsApp message just in case you're having issues with the network on 09040-821-061. Do you think teaching children in their mother tongue really makes a difference? Or maybe you're a parent, a teacher, or even a student who has what has your journey been learning in English and this is your native language. Give us a call and let's talk, because the issue is not just about policy, it is about our children, our homes, and our future. All right, while we wait for your calls, let's keep this conversation moving. The issue is too important to, leave hanging, because as we've been saying, it is not something one family or even one school can solve alone. It really needs a wider push. So, let's talk about the wider push. What role should government policy play here about the curriculum changes, teacher training, or even language policy in public schools?
Thank you so much. Before you actually say that, I was actually thinking about that.
Oh, okay.
Before now. Yeah. I think our 21st century's mom, parents, we've done a whole lot of harm to our children and making them to be aware that, oh, you don't have to speak my language, you have to speak English instead of my language. To solve this problem, I think our government needs to do some awareness. There should be global awareness, to let people know, educate them what they are missing, what they stand to lose, what their children stand to lose. If you educate them, analyze it, take it back home, break it down for them, and let them see that even the foreign people you are embracing their culture, they are actually teaching their children their own native language. When you talk to an American here, they envy us that they can't speak another language. You see, most American homes, they will even try to teach their children Mandarin. Mandarin is actually widely acceptable. Spanish is widely acceptable. So can you imagine that if they are encouraging their own children to learn Spanish, to learn Mandarin, because if you know that you can actually get some scholarship. So why are we throwing away our culture? So I think our local government, our state government, our federal government, they are going to do more than empowering the teacher alone.
All right. We have a call. Let's hear what our first caller has to say concerning this. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your
My name
name?
is
Okay, sir.
You see, church and mosque try their best to teach our children moral. But the problem of our generation is the problem of secret cult and secret society. This kind of doing idea to give our children and use lot of cooperation to mislead them, to discourage them. So this is one hope. But the problem of course, culture because is additional factor. They use this idea to give our children and use our children to give our ways. So problem of courtesy need to be eradicated before you can promote morale.
Mr. Mustafa.
Yes.
So this morning we are talking about language and identity when it comes to our children.
And what I'm trying to say.
So do you think?
Language.
Yes. Do you think teaching? Okay. So do you think teaching? Mr. Mustafa.
Learning. There's a lot of teaching logic that can help our students understanding. Me and Sabi in that kind of area where I remember one of my former principal, Reverend Obadadi, he used analysis to help understanding. You know the type of analysis that people will quickly understand. And that kind of analysis helps the students to understand the teachings. God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria. Thank you so very much, Mr. Mustafa, for your opinion and your contribution towards the topic this morning. So this morning we've been unpacking identity and language when it comes to teaching our children their mother tongue and how important it is for our children and how our mother tongue pave way for our children, not just national, we're talking about globally here. And yes, of course, we have a guest who has joined us remotely, speaking of Mrs. Temilade, and she has been giving us insight on this conversation. And before that call came in, she was telling us how schools and government should, add this to their curriculum, when it comes to teacher training or even language policy in public school. Back to you, ma'am. Are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, ma'am. You were talking about government, the role a government policy should play in all of this, and then a caller called in. I don't know if you have a thing or two to say concerning what Mr. Mustafa has said.
I think Mr. Mustafa, God bless his soul, I think what he was trying to say is that we should embrace our culture. That the teachers to use what is available to them to teach the kids and to help the children to learn their culture. I think that was when he was trying to make an example of one of his old teacher or principal who was able to use some methods, teach them where they are. I mean, using what they are comfortable with, to teach them, and they were able to understand, I think that was what Mr. Mustafa was saying when he called.
Okay, now can we quickly, go back to the role of government policy in all of this? Talking about our curriculum changes, even teachers training and language policy in public schools.
Yeah. So what I was saying before Mr. Mustafa called me was that we are in the Gen Z, a whole lot of the Gen Z, they are not married, but we are in the 21st century, internet age.
Okay.
Our government.
Okay, we have another caller. Let's hear what is. Hello, good morning. Yes, good morning, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, sir. Okay, Mr. Biola.
About this matter. The problem of this country now is not for government, but the major problem that it comes from private school. That is the problem I know that academic education in Nigeria, because no question, not we're supposed to put down the education to make everything right together with government. And not. That's what it's called. So government says they look there, they're not talking anything. So the major problem of the country is private school. I know that happens to the education of the country. That's all. That's it. That's all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abiola, for your opinion and your contribution on the topic this morning. All right, are you still with us, ma'am?
Yes, I'm here with you.
So, according to Mr. Abiola, he has said that in private schools, they are the ones that are causing, this bridge between our mother tongue and English language. Do you have anything to say regarding that?
Yes, as he was speaking, I was able to pick one or two things that he was saying.
Okay.
I think, yes, we need to do the awareness because it has really, really eaten deep in the sense that a whole lot of 21st century parents, they don't want their kids to learn about their mother's tongue. And I think the second thing we have to do, the federal government, the state government, the local government, they might probably put it into law, just like what they do in China,
Okay.
Making it mandatory for their kids to learn Mandarin. The federal government, the state government, the local government can also make it mandatory for children in every school. Maybe it is a private school, maybe it is a public school, they have to learn their local language. And this will actually help. This will force the private school people, the owner of the private school, to change their curriculum, to embrace this culture. And now that I'm even talking to you, I remember when we traveled in, that was in May, June for summer vacation, we went to Japan. And when you put together 10 Japanese, it is hardly that you will hear one of them speaking English. Actually, our English was actually nonsense because nobody can even speak that English to us. When I go to the mall, they have a whole lot of 7-Eleven. That's their widely known mall, super mall in Japan. When we went to Japan, this like a couple of months ago, our English was nonsense. Nobody understands English. We have to use Google Translator. So Again, I said earlier on that it's because most people, they don't travel. If you travel wide, you will know that making your own language irrelevant, and I'm speaking to the private school, I'm speaking to everybody, making your own language irrelevant and putting another foreign language above yours, it is not good. In Japan, they don't even understand us. We have to use Google Translator. We were just like walking, in a strange land where nobody understands us. The days that our phone went off and we couldn't charge it, we have to navigate that. Because they don't even understand you. You're speaking English to them, they don't understand. And imagine if, for instance, I'm just an American citizen, I don't know how to speak other language, and I just bank on it that, English is the best language that you can speak in the world. I am telling you about my experience going to Japan in June of this year with my family. The English language was nothing because nobody understood English language. We have to use Google Translator. So I hope the state government, the federal government, the local government, they can please imbibe this. We can make it into a policy. If you make it into a policy that every school must ensure that they teach every child their mother's language, it will help a whole lot. That doesn't mean they will throw away that universal language, which I am telling you as somebody who has traveled versed, that most times the English that you know how to speak, it will not help you. When you travel, most times they will not even understand, because those people, they have decided to embrace their own mother's tongue. So there is more advantage in helping. And I think what we can do, number one, is awareness. Then the state government, the federal government, the local government, they can pass it into law and let these people realize, the teacher, that they are doing the children more harm than good. And also there needs to be like a mentoring, tutoring the parents, to let them know, because if the federal government is doing their job, the teachers are doing their job at school, but the parents, they just tell the kids that immediately you enter this house, please drop down your language at the door. It is not going to be effective, So we need to educate them. And you can't educate people by enforcing things. You have to make them realize the advantage of embracing it. And at the same time, you have to make them realize the disadvantages of not embracing it. And you put the cards on the table for them to pick. And if you do that, they will see reasons why we need to have our children to embrace their mother's tongue.
Thank you so very much, ma'am, for sharing your insight with us this morning on the issues. You've helped us see that this conversation about language and identity goes far beyond the classroom. Now, an hour is never enough to talk about language and identity. That is teaching your children your mother tongue. And so, a listener, whether you called in or you were just at home listening quietly, I hope today's discussion has reminded you that our mother tongues are treasured. They carry our roots, our wisdom, and our pride. Certificate may open doors, yes, but it's our identity and skills that keep those doors open. It has been the issues on IKD 106.1 FM. I am Tessie Emebuna. Until next time, keep preserving your culture and keep building the Nigeria we all dream of. Stay safe, stay inspired, and God bless Nigeria.